Greetings, everyone. My name is Tanya Morrow. I'm the chair of the Rogue Valley Transportation District, and I'm going to call the August 27, 2025 regular meeting of the board to order with a roll call, please.
Denise Kraus.
Here.
Bill Mansfield.
Here.
Tanya Morrow.
Here.
Tyler Jasper.
Here.
Katrina Ernman Newton.
Here.
Dan Davis. And Carl McNair.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Thank you. We all have two sets of minutes in front of us, and I'm wondering if there are any corrections or comments anybody has on those. I did want to point out, Lou, that I think on the third page of the July 23 board meeting, at the top, there's a clause that's not supposed to be there. I don't have it in front of me. Let's see.
Yeah, it flows through the never happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that?
I saw that.
Oh, I see that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll figure that out.
Cool. All right, we'll deem those approved. Everybody's received the monthly financial reports. If not, say nay. Like a horse. All right, everybody's got the reports. And moving on, we don't have any presentations, no public hearings. We'll move straight to new business. And it looks like we have a stiff plan budget modification to consider.
Yes, so I'm not sure if Paige wanted to speak to this or if she would like me to.
She comes.
There you are, Paige. Good evening. Whoops. Say something because you're not very loud.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
That's
now we
nice.
can.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
New room, new setup.
So I'll speak a little bit louder. Good evening, Madam Chair and Board of Directors. My name is Paige West. I'm the Planning and Strategic Programs Manager. And tonight we are presenting a budget modification that was part of our stiff plan.
Get a little
fully aware-
closer, Paige. You're, sorry,
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
not really, but okay,
Is
just
there
go
a way to
ahead.
turn up the volume in the room?
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Maybe. Well, let's see.
Test.
Actually, I think it just went down instead of up.
Test.
For audio is just for inside of the auditorium.
Okay.
So it would be contingent on,
Her side.
yes.
Yeah, Paige, we probably just speak as loud as you can. I'll try to repeat.
Okay, so we have,
A stiff plan budget modification being considered for you tonight. It's, for some of you actually haven't gone through the stiff plan adoption process, which we just did earlier this year, and it was for the 2025 to 2027 fiscal years, which we started on July 1st. Had we known the situation that is before us right now with the federal funding delays and the state also having difficulties, we would have had a very different stiff plan. However, these plans are due to the Oregon Department of Transportation in January. And so this was submitted well before April, which was when we were notified of the funding difficulties that we had coming. With that said, the process is not something that typically happens, but there are three things that we have to do in order for us to make this something that is not going to require another adoption by the Oregon Transportation Commission. One, it has to be within the same plan period, which it is. It's in the 25-27 plan period. Two, it has to be from projects that are in the plan to other projects also in the plan. And three, it has to go in front of the STIF Advisory Committee. which, again, there are some of our board members that are not aware. We have a STIF advisory committee that reviews our STIF plan, works with us for over the course of about a year to identify the projects, and then they recommend approval to you as the board. But they also are the body that is in charge of reviewing and approving the modifications. This is the first time we've had to do this, and so we've been working alongside ODOT to make sure that we're complying with the rules and statute that govern STIF plans across the state. And basically, you have information that was in your packet. One was a letter that is from Julie Brown that's going to be going with our packet of information to the Oregon Department of Transportation. You have the STIF Advisory Committee minutes documenting that they received, reviewed, and also recommended approval. And then lastly, which is the most important part, the budget modification itself. So the budget modification is to move funds from projects that were in service before and won't be beginning Tuesday of next week. Those are Route 26, Route 1X, Route 27, Route 17, and Route 41. The funds for those routes are going to be moved to the Route 10, which is considered a preservation or maintenance route because it was in service before STIF was available to us approximately 6-7 years ago. But it is an eligible project for us to move funds into. And essentially what it will do is help to preserve the service that we will have beginning next week for several months, and potentially over the course of the entire STIF biennium plan. We hope not. We hope that we'll be coming back to both the STIF Advisory Committee and the board at some point in the next year and a half to move funds back to the projects that are being reduced and cut. But at this time, with our current situation, this honestly is helping to shore up the service that will be in place starting next week. So without this funding, we would not even been able to do what we are planning to do. So with that, I can answer any questions, but we are requesting approval of the STIF Plan 25-27 budget modification.
Any questions of Paige? I have a question. What does it cost us to maintain Route 10 for a biennium? Is it the 1.2 that's in the one column?
No,
No.
this is a bit of a complicated answer.
And normally, if we had all 15 routes in service, the cost per hour, just on an economy of scale standpoint, would be lower, right? But because we are scaling down to these 6 routes, the cost per hour is actually quite a bit more. Our service with all 15 routes, the Route 10 costs between, I believe it's $5.5 to $6 million per year. It is the most expensive route that we have in the system. And so we had put 1.2 million of our STIF funds, a very small portion of the actual cost of the Route 10, into our 25-27 plan, knowing that it was going to be helping to preserve this downward trend that we had forecasted. However, now in this new model, I don't know how much we can say it costs. It's more than what it was with the 15 routes, though. So this is not essentially the full cost of the Route 10. It's not. It's a portion still of how much that route costs the district.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I just want to double check because you mentioned hoping to revisit this under happier circumstances. Is it those same 3 requirements to make those kinds of changes, that it be within the plan period and the other 2 you mentioned? So we're really hoping that that happens like within this biennium.
That's right. So to
do another budget modification to move funds from this project of Route 10 back into any of these other routes, you're correct, we would have to go through the STIF Advisory Committee and then also to you, the board. And before that, though, a process of identifying which of these are the priority, along with all of the other services that we've removed from the system that are not on this list. And so that is something that we are going to be moving into here in the next few months, once we've been able to transition from what we're currently doing.
Okay, thank you.
And I think maybe even a better answer to that would be, there is a transportation, well, right now it's the legislative concept too, but it is a bill that they are trying to move forward in special session, will be voted on next Wednesday by the Senate, and this Friday by the, no, excuse me, it'll be Sunday by the House, is additional money. So what will happen is, if that is passed, we'll be revisiting our STIF plans, because that money will be added in to the plans, and then we can identify, and so that's where you'll see a change in service.
Okay. Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
Oh, Paige, I had another question, because the Route 10 has been a route for a long time, and these other STIF routes were, I believe, added with STIF funds. And so did we just get lucky that we had the Route 10 on the STIF plan, or how did that end up on the STIF plan?
We had planned for the Route 10 to be part of the STIF plan originally. And it was because we had seen the forecast of our, the financial situation that we're currently experiencing. We knew that we were starting to move into that, but not nearly as severe as what we're actually dealing with the federal funds. But we did know that over the next 3 to 4 years, we would be needing to identify and secure additional revenues. And so we went ahead and put the Route 10 into the STIF plan. This is the first time that we had done basically what we call like a pre-STIF route, or a base service, into our STIF plan. And we put what we thought was a reasonable amount, 1.2 million, into that project. And yes, it was, I think, very serendipitous that we did that, because it's allowing us to now move these other projects' funding sources into that one project.
Thank you.
And we were allowed to do that because of a legislative change that allowed us to use STIF funds for prior.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So in 2019, there was a rule change.
Rule change.
Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
If the funding passes during the next special session, which is coming up really soon, what would potentially be the earliest we might be able to start re-implementing some of these things, and need to have our priorities in order?
So, and that is why Paige kind of said, starting in October, we need to start working on this.
And she said in the next few months, so I wondered if it might be.
So we're not going to be able to put service back in this next fiscal year. The money that we receive from this will not start be taken out of anyone's check until January. So January is when they will start garnishing the 0.2%, and we wouldn't see the increase in those funds until probably the first quarter, after the first quarter of the year, but closer probably to July of next year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is anybody willing to make a motion to approve the 2025-27 STIF plan budget modification?
Move approval of the STIF plan budget modification.
Okay, any discussion, deliberations? Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Denise Kraus,
Yes.
Bill Mansfield,
Yes.
Tanya Morrow,
Yes.
Tyler Jasper,
Yes.
Katrina Ernman Newton,
Yes.
Dan Davis,
Abstain.
and Carl McNair.
Yes.
There are 6 yes votes, 1 abstention. Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we have a housekeeping resolution to update the list of authorized signers on our financial accounts. This resolution 2502. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We've just got a new list of folks. Are there any questions about that? Go ahead.
Move approval.
Oop, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
So you can have the motion first.
It's fine, you can still, yeah.
I can,
Beg pardon? This is just a
Yeah.
housekeeping measure is
I
all it
know.
is.
yeah, but I want to withdraw my name from the authority to sign checks.
Okay,
So your move would be to move to amend.
amend it, the
motion.
resolution.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Do we need 6? Staff, do we need 6?
I think we'll be okay.
Well, if you're taking Tim Fountain off. And almost like another
Be
board
like a
member.
friendly motion, I think. wouldn't it?
Amendment, yeah.
Amendment, yeah.
Let's see,
We're considering whether we want to actually add somebody before we
5.
make the resolution.
Dan, is your microphone on? There's a,
No,
There's one.
there's a button, yeah.
We didn't put in here that we're taking Tim off, correct?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, is it in there? I didn't see it in the
right here.
oh, it's in the resolution, sorry. Okay.
Question. I want to ask the administration, do we need another, in order to make things handy, do we need another signature?
It's nice to have it because sometimes people are gone, is the
It'd be
problem.
nice to have somebody that's local and nearby then, isn't it?
Yes. Are you volunteering yourself?
No, I don't live nearby.
Well, you're in Central Point,
I'm
yeah.
willing, but I don't think I'm the right guy for it.
Okay. We could add back Tim Fountain. We took Tim Fountain off. We could add him back in if that, please, board, if that's okay with the board. It just leaves one board member as a signer. Not that they're asked to sign very often. Or Carl, are you volunteering?
oh, I would be fine with it. I was looking to see if anyone else wanted to volunteer, but I do live in Medford. I'm close by if you need another.
You're one of our senior board members, we'll take you.
We'll ta-
All
that's a
right,
good-
so the friendly amendment is to withdraw Dan's name and add Carl's name to the resolution. All right, any questions, concerns about that?
I think I've signed twice
Yeah.
in 4 years.
Yeah. All right, let's do a roll call on that too, if you don't mind.
Sure. Denise Kraus,
Yes.
Bill Mansfield.
Yes,
Tanya Morrow.
Yes,
Tyler Jasper.
Yes.
Katrina Ernman Newton.
Yes?
Dan Davis.
Yes.
And Carl McNair.
Yes.
7 yes votes.
Thank
motion
you.
passes.
okay. We'll move on to reports.
So I have just a few reports. Thank you for meeting down here. We have a little bit of a problem with our building. We're having the air tested. We have a little bit of a cloud of doom. I told Kelly, she said, what are you going to say? And I said, well, as usual, RVTD has this little cloud that keeps following us around from project to project and wants to rain on us. But they are testing our air quality in that building. We think that there's a little bit of a problem with air conditioning and bringing in fresh air. There's a lot of formaldehyde that is showing up with a building that's been remodeled. That's typical of a building, but when your air conditioning unit isn't bringing in fresh air and blowing air out, it can be a problem. And so we thought it'd be best, and it was unfortunate a couple of our staff were not feeling well, to move out of that building. And so everybody is over at Crater Lake right now, crammed in there. But they are, again, testing, I believe, next week. I don't know if Kelly, if you want to add anything to this, or Nick, we are having the building retested. They're looking at all of the areas to make sure that it's clear. And then we're also looking at the ducting and the air conditioning system there. So that's why we're meeting here in this building. The other thing I want to report, we've been really busy because tomorrow, or Friday and Saturday are the last 2 days of service at the level we are. And again, there'll be 63 employees that'll be laid off. We're working at making sure that all the paperwork is done, that everybody has the information they need. We've spent a lot of time, we've brought in through the employment office, some, what is it called, Lynn? WorkSource, thank you. I almost said workforce, and I knew that wasn't right. WorkSource, who has kind of helped the employees to understand what they're going to do during a layoff, what resources are available to them. With that said, it's still not an easy thing, and our morale is pretty low right now. But we're going to get through this, and we keep having this hope and that things will change in the future, in the near future. We're hoping that the transportation bill will pass. So for those of you that aren't tracking, there is a legislative concept 2 that the governor has put forth in a special session. It will have to go through 3 readings. So right now, there's only one chamber of House that's available in Salem. So the House will meet first on Friday. They're going to have a public hearing. If anybody would like to testify virtually or in person, it's 1 o'clock. You can sign up for it, and if you're interested in that, get a hold of me and I'll talk to you about what that means. But they're going to take testimony, and then they will read the bill. And then on Saturday, they will read the bill again. And then on Sunday, the House will read the bill for the 3rd time and vote. Then on Monday, Labor Day, the Senate will take their place. They will, again, do the same process. And on Wednesday, they'll do the final vote. So we are waiting to see where we're going to land with the transportation bill. And in that bill is a 0.1% increase for transit, which means doubling what we receive now, which is pretty close to, not quite, but it's pretty close to what we receive in federal funds. And the reason I'm pointing this out is we still are in limbo as to what's going to happen with our federal funds. The lawsuit that is moving forward is the briefings were due. Both sides did their briefings. I think they're having a hearing on the 28th of September on those briefings to see what the next steps are. And so at this point, I don't know what the judge is going to rule, but we're waiting on that because that is the injunction that is in place right now that allowed us to draw down some of our federal funds. And if that holds, then can breathe a sigh of relief. If it doesn't hold and the judge rules in favor of the administration, we're going to have to think about what we're going to do. And it's going to be a really serious conversation because our federal funds being withheld as a sanctuary state, the governor has made it very clear we're not going to back down off of that. And at that point, we'll have a problem. So we need to prepare for it. We're doing that. And in the meantime, we're just working all the other pieces of everything that has to happen at the state level. But on Tuesday, our employees will come and get their final checks, and our new service will start up. So at this point, just kind of open it up to any questions you may have of things you've heard or, why are we doing things a certain way? We're here, the staff's here, we'll try to walk you through our decision-making process and what's happening. Yes, good.
How many states are involved in the lawsuit?
20.
20?
20. So there's 20 sanctuary states.
They're all sanctuary states that are involved?
Yes.
And everybody else is okay?
No, nobody's okay. I mean, we're all in the same kind of situation where we've had a hard time getting our federal funds. We're not the only transit district at this point now. Everybody has received notice and they're really starting to struggle and trying to figure out, and services getting cut.
But the other 30 states haven't lost.
But the other 30 states, right, have not lost their funding.
Is this in the DC District Court? Do you know? Is that where
It
the
is in
case
Rhode Island.
Okay, that's right. Okay. Any other questions, thoughts, comments for Julie?
I know this is hard for you And as new board members, it's probably extremely hard because you come on board and everything's falling apart. But the one thing that I'm really proud about RVTD and the employees that work for RVTD, they've held it together. There's been moments that they haven't, but on a whole, they've held it together. They showed up for work. They continued doing their job. The bad part is they're really hoping for a miracle and don't have one to deliver. And so they're facing the reality now. And it's very, very difficult. I think as the general manager, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Because you know you're impacting passengers who can't get to work, can't get to the places they need to go. And we hear from them quite often. It really impacts the employees that work there. And it impacts this community. Now, the community doesn't know it yet, but they're about to find out. And that's where they're going to start seeing it, when people can't come to work, when all of a sudden things just, there isn't the flow of people coming through their businesses. And it's really, really unfortunate. I think that one of the failures of me as a general manager is that I've been focusing so hard on the state stuff for the last 2 years that we've kind of let the local stuff go. And we haven't had as many conversations with them about what could happen here. And now they're getting it full force. Now they're starting to realize it. And in the past, we had a really, really good relationship with all our jurisdictions and a really good understanding of transit and what RVTD brought to the table. And when we started bringing in money and able to provide a level of service that they wanted, they were thrilled. But that hard work of trying to get that money all the time, it's an ongoing slog that never ends. And so they kind of forgot about us and just kind of good old RVT they're doing. And in some instances, when we did get the money, they wanted to cut money away from us in every opportunity they could. At the MPO level, we lost money. We lost money in a lot of different places. And there wasn't that support of transit. And in the meantime, you have a turnover of boards and commissions, and so you have new faces. And where I failed, I think in some ways, is didn't make enough positive interactions with the newest council people. And we need to get back to that. And that's one of the things that Kelly and I have discussed, and we're going to really make a attempt to get in front of all the jurisdictions to really help them understand what has happened to transit, because they cannot afford to lose us. And they're going to have to start supporting us.
Go ahead, Bill.
I disagree respectfully with the manager about the idea that the transportation district is falling apart. I do not believe it is falling apart. I recognize that the federal government is our enemy at the present time. They do not believe, apparently, in public transportation. In spite of those difficulties, we are bound and determined and feel strongly, I believe all of us do, about the obligation of local governments to provide transportation for the general public. And in spite of the enemy federal government, we are proceeding to do it.
And I don't mean that we're falling apart, but we've had to cut service so drastically that it makes a huge impact.
I agree with that, but I do not believe we're falling apart. We are still holding on firmly to the concept of public transportation in spite of the enemy.
Go ahead, Dan.
I disagree with one other thing you said, Julie, that you bear responsibility for what's going on. There's one place that responsibility belongs, and that's in the White House of the United States of America. For what's going on, all the disruption, all the evil, all of the things that are happening in this country to damage and destroy this country. And I'll get off my soapbox in a minute. But it's not on you. It's on Donald Trump and his crew of criminals.
That's pretty strong language, but I agree with you.
If you want to find out what I really think, Keep going.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I'm going to, go ahead.
I just wanted to expand a little bit on, or ask you to expand, General Manager, on the NPO level or places where you specifically have seen that disconnect.
Sure.
As somebody who's new and would love to be, again, a part of how do we build those relationships when you refer to jurisdictions, what are we talking about
Can
there?
I make my comment first, though? Because I also disagree with you
Okay.
about, I mean, it'd be great if we all had plenty of time to show up at city council meetings, right? And it's not all on you, but this cultural thing that's been going on, it has trickled down to our local community too, Julie. So I know how dynamic you are in any conversation at any table, but from being at the MPO for the last few years, I can tell you we had a staff problem that was sort of against transit. And we've got cities and counties scrapping for their resources, as you know. And it's just, it's just not the collegial thing. And maybe you could have made it that way, but I seriously, you should not put that on you. There is more going on even at the local level. So I don't know if that helps, but there's,
Well,
yeah.
I think that one of the things, so when I started my career as a general manager, RVTD, they really didn't want to support us and give us any money. And at one point, there were stronger land use laws that stated that we had to provide a level of transit, that we had to do these things to reduce vehicle miles traveled in our community. And through that conversation and those rules, we were able to get about $1.2 million from the MPO every year. And there was this agreement that they were going to give us money. But as the years went by and RVTD started bringing in more money, and also as money got tighter.
And the rule went away.
And the rule went away.
They were anxious for the rule to go away.
Yes, they were.
Yes.
All that stuff started backtracking what we had accomplished. So over the years, they started taking a hatchet to the amount of money we received and asked us to decrease it. And we did over and over, I think twice. And we are down now to about $700,000 a year. Just recently, we asked them, there was a pot of money that we could have actually used, we think, but now we don't know, for, and it was federal money, for additional operations and service. And the support wasn't there. And it was a little disappointing to me to see that the support, but the players have changed. The players have changed. And that's where I think it's difficult sometimes, is because you may not be able to have that conversation with that person.
But here's the context. Situation changed, but we actually had a jurisdiction threaten a lawsuit if they didn't get that entire pot of money. So that's how it's gotten. That's where it is.
And what is the NPO exactly?
Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Okay.
And we're part of it as a group of, I think, is there 7?
Yeah, 7 or 8 jurisdictions, yeah.
Okay, I was hearing NPO, which was part of
sorry,
why I was
M.
as confused. I was like, nonprofit.
I'm a little
organiz-
stuffy today, so.
Okay, but thank you for clarifying and
Sure.
for expanding on that, both of you.
So,
Quick question.
yes.
So to follow up on that, did the jurisdiction that threatened the lawsuit, then did they get the whole pot of money?
yes.
Okay, so I thought.
I wanted to make a comment on what you said earlier too, because I think through this very difficult situation where we adopted a budget and immediately found out that the money that we thought was coming in was not going to be coming in. RVTD, from my perspective, took very decisive action to make sure that this problem didn't turn into a catastrophe. Not that the current situation is good, but it's, I think, the best we could get to. And so I think you've done the best you can given the cards you were dealt. I wanted to make that clear.
I also think that staff and you are doing an excellent job under the circumstances. And I agree with Dan that you should not accept any blame.
Well, I can't help my own personal wrestling with my conscience of how I feel, but thank you. I do have to say, we've been really lucky. And hiring Kelly Matting, when we did, was a godsend. And one of the things for me is she'd been through a layoff before. Of course, when she found out we were going to do this, she told me she just about quit because she didn't want to do it because it's awful. It's probably one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah.
And but she made sure that I dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's because there was a lot that I didn't even know we had to do. And we've gotten through it. It's been a little rough. For one of our managers who's sitting here, Andy Swanson, Andy's being laid off. He's one of the managers being laid off. And I just want to thank him because he brought us to another level of safety and security within our organization. And it's just, if I had my way, I would keep every single person. It's just really, really difficult. And we are going to have to sweat this. It's going to be a lot of hard work because there are a lot of holes right now that we can't do, that we need to make sure that we stay in compliance. And you're right. Carl, we reacted quickly. There are transit agencies that I'm getting phone calls now going, I don't know what to do, tell me what to do. Because now they're facing that cliff. And realizing that they've already spent the money and they're in the hole.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there's some of that going on because they were told they had the money and then then ODOT said, we can't give you the money because we can't draw it down from the federal government. So there's a lot. We were fortunate that we had a reserve that we could rely on. We're fortunate now that we have a little bit of reserve to get us through till property taxes come. All of this will work out in the long run and we'll get our feet back under us. It's just going to take time and patience. But in the meantime, I think the one thing we have to be conscious of is the passengers. And our patrons are hurting right now. They're scared. I have one that calls me every day just to check in because we are her life. And she doesn't know what she's going to do. And so we'll keep working at it. We've got a great team. I wish I could, talk about every single person. But I keep trying to give them a glimmer. It's like, guys, just hang on. I know you can't just hang on. You have mouths to feed in your house. You have, bills to pay, mortgages, etc. Do what you need to do to survive. And I will call you back when we get the chance, but I can't tell you when. And we've done this before. We had to do it, I think in 2008, we had a layoff or a cut of service of 35%, and we made it back. And we made it back even stronger. So I know we will. The other piece that I'm gonna say about the legislators in Oregon, half of them are for funding this now with the Band-Aid, but they know we have to come back to the table. And so there's going to be robust conversations about if we keep increasing the payroll tax, what is it going to buy me? And how do we split it? And how do we make this work across the state? And part of the conversation has been all the money staying in the Portland metro area. And what's trickling down to the other agencies, the 48 of us, is very little. So you see this huge amount of over 129 million that stays in the Portland metro area, and then everybody else gets a little bit. What I've put TriMet on notice and said, we need to have a conversation. Because I think at this point, we all have a base. If we get 0.2%, we have a base. And then we're gonna have to talk about how we distribute the rest.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, right now, it is proportional to what is brought in
Sure.
each jurisdiction,
But if the
right?
state of Oregon is really going to get serious about transportation, and we're talking bike ped, light rail, transit, we have to have a different kind of conversation.
Yeah, well, we need to get serious about a lot of different things, too.
Yeah, but I'm just talking in
I know.
in my world. I try to keep my world pretty
Small,
narrow
okay.
right now. I can't do all of it.
I'll do that for you.
Okay.
Julie, you said we had 35% cut in 2008. What is the percentage of the cut we're doing now?
I think it's 62%.
Ay, ay, ay. That's hard.
Sorry.
It's okay.
One thing I noticed is that NPR has been cut off as well as PBS, which is kind of a lifeline for many people for contact with the outside world. And they have NPR has regained, or JPR, has regained, I think the number is like about 65% of the federal funds that were lost by people donating. And do you think there's also a possibility that the local authorities will recognize the loss they're going to have from transit coming down, and they'll do something about it this time?
I don't know, and the reason why, I'm going to tell you why. Some of the things that have cost our district, inflationary wise, so we're talking about employees' benefits, the cost of an employee, fuel, operations, insurance. When I mean insurance, I'm talking about liability insurance, general liability insurance, workers' comp, all of it. All of these things have doubled to the point where the affordability of keeping your government the size it is not there. And so to ask them to give to us is going to be difficult because they're seeing those things too.
Yes.
And they can't even make their budgets. So you're seeing it. I was talking to Adam yesterday, and he was talking about his fiance who works for SOU, and they just found out that they got a huge problem in their budget, and they're going to start cutting. You're going to see this in jurisdictions. You're going to see it probably in our library district, all over the place. So I don't think we're unique to it. I think it's just happening. So with that said, it's like I think we have to reimagine what we do and how we deliver. And one of the things I can report out to you is that our employees voted on taking a different healthcare system, insurance. They are now going to be paying in to that system, which is new for them. What is the percentage? Is it 20?
We're saving 20% overall.
20% overall. If they want to stay with the same kind of level of deductible, et cetera, they have to buy it. It's not cheap, but they're going to do it. And they voted to do that through the union. So I think we're seeing a shift, the people starting to understand that we also have to sacrifice, that we can't have everything that we want as far as benefits, wages, et cetera. We're going to be in a negotiation with our union. We will be looking at our levy. We'll be looking at all these different things. And in the meantime, I think it's time for us to really think about what we want to do for delivery of service and what it's going to cost us, and then start making those decisions with our community and saying, well, we can give you this, but we can't give you that. What would you prefer? Do you want Saturday service, or do you want Monday through Friday really good service? And so those are going to be trade-offs. Everybody's going to have to compromise.
Julie, I wanted to ask a clarifying question, because at one of the previous meetings, we were able to draw down some federal funds, but it sounds like there's a large chunk that's still we're unable to draw on. Can you
So
explain
this morning, I was able to draw some more. So we got our operating, our $5307, which was 3.4 million, I think, somewhere in, is it 3.4?
We're $1.4 million last month, or, yeah, the last month, and then $700,000 today. And that's all the rest, that's all we're getting for the rest of the year, except for the 5310, which they're telling us we're not gonna be able to get till March. And maybe not even then, so.
So the 5310 money it comes through ODOT, and they haven't even started their grant process. So there's a problem there. And so it'll be March before we get all of the money. But we're pretty close to getting most of it, what we're gonna try to draw down. The problem is that we've used all the cash up until this point. So we have to have enough to carry us till we get our drop of property tax in November.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I want to just say a couple quick more things before we move on to other business. But I want to thank Andy too, and I would say that I am particularly concerned, not concerned, but I guess disappointed that we cannot maintain that position, because I do think that the district moving into a more prominent role in our community for emergency management and the resiliency of our community is something I want to encourage us to continue to do. So thank you for building that out, and I hope you find similar work in our community if you can hang on. And the other thing on that note is that, and this is semantics, I know, but I sort of decided I don't like the idea that we're right-sizing. I just want to throw that out. I get it that we have to, we have had to make cuts in order to deal with our, maintenance budget problems. But this idea that we weren't the right size is something I don't like, in the sense that I do believe we need extremely robust transit in our community. So I just throw that out, and I want you to just be, to know that I'm a little sensitive to that. So,
Well, I'll try to
that's okay. You could say it however you want, but yeah.
Well, I think the other part, and we tried to come up with the word, and that was the word we came up with.
Yeah.
But I think that when they asked us to build out our systems using the STIF dollars to do it, I think that it wasn't, for a lot of us, we put a lot of service out, and we knew that we probably couldn't sustain it. But in ridership and different things happen that you go, okay, we thought this route was a brilliant route, but the ridership's not there, and doesn't seem to be growing, we're gonna pull that route. And that's where we mean by right size, and we knew we were going to have to look at some of these, because even though the community was asking for them, didn't mean that they were going to use it. And I'll give you an example. Back when I started with the district, there was a route up on, I think it was what is that?
Haven?
No. It's up off of Jackson. Anyway, Brookdale? Maybe it was Brookdale. And, everybody in the east side wanted that route. Blah, blah, blah. They just went on and on and on. It might have been Black Oak, actually. It was Black Oak, I think. We need that route. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody rode the route. And so when we were asking for money, people were like, well, you have empty buses. Why would we pay for through our property tax for you to have this route? Those are what we mean by right size. And sometimes the best ideas and intentions aren't there, and that maybe we need to get rid of it. So we just did it a little differently.
So we'll reimagine, for sure.
We will.
Okay. So I want to, under other business here, make you aware that I have left my proposed letter that we talked about at the special meeting that we had, for you to peruse in case you had any questions, comments, or concerns, because I learned that the OTC will be now considering their capital improvement plan. Staff told me that they're going to have a workshop on the 4th, so if you're okay with this, we'll get it on letterhead and we'll get it up to the OTC, and then you have a meeting on the 9th. Okay?
I think, hold on. Let me look at this, because I think your dates are wrong.
I just got them from Megan right here.
Well, maybe they changed it
we'll be sharing materials for the workshop with the commission next Thursday. And it would, and then, there's public comment until the 9th, and you're scheduled for a meeting on the 10th. No, sorry, I got it wrong. Workshop is on the 10th.
The workshop's on the 10th?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the commission will meet on the 11th?
On the 11th, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry to confuse you.
it's all right. Because I just sent them an email and said, I can't make the 10th, which they're not going to be happy about.
So when would you need any comments that we might
Well,
have?
can you do it now? Can we take a minute and have everybody read it?
Is it in here?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. I'm sorry about this. Should have thought about it early in the week.
CIP is what?
Capital improvement plan.
Thanks.
Improvement or investment?
I'm sorry, investment.
Okay.
I think you should call it improvement, because I still refer to it as improvement, so.
Do you want like ticky-tacky word choice things or?
Sure, why don't you just go ahead and edit it there, and
Okay.
if it's just Scribner's or,
No, it's just me trying to like, how can we say that even more intensely? It's like, this isn't just the appropriate lens, this is the only lens you should be using. But I don't know if you like need those level of edits or them.
I'm not going to look at the letter until I
yeah,
get it.
until you get it formally. Chair Brown. It says, Dear Chair Brown. Should have had a PowerPoint.
Look at Bill, the attorney. He's already read it,
I
and
have.
absorbed it.
Well, I don't understand it all, but I have no objection to it.
And the engineer doesn't have a clue yet.
I don't have very much for you, except I don't feel like you need the word appropriate lens of creating healthy, vibrant communities. It's like if they're looking through any other lens, they're already lost. Like, and then a minor thing with, of course, whatever is done needs to be done with a proportional geographic balance. I'm not sure we need that phrase, and a part of me would even prefer to say, like, given the emphasis on sustainability and the disproportionate impact of climate crisis on rural or lower income communities, like, I don't know if I want to talk about the proportions. So that's the only phrase where I'm like, I don't know if we need that either. Otherwise, no objections, solid.
Okay, you know what I was trying to get at there is the fact that Portland's getting all the money, we don't.
Oh, then I would put it in stronger language.
Okay, all right.
I would put it in stronger language, like,
Like, Oregon doesn't stop at the boundary of
boundary border,
Wilsonville.
Right.
yeah, I think something that is stronger, like, climate change has a disproportionate effect on rural and poor individuals.
Yeah.
Where do those people live? It's not just in the greater Portland metro, it's in the Rogue
Entire
Valley.
state.
The entire state, but like, if it's coming from us, then we can say like, we had the fires here were a huge disruption. And even if you look at the absolute numbers, perhaps it's not as many displaced as would have been by the fires in Malibu, but the impacts have been extremely long lasting. And the industries here are much more likely to be catastrophically disrupted by climate change. So like, I would just like, Portland, we love you. We're arguing for ourselves. And we don't have to love Portland. Maybe, that's a strong word. But but I think it's okay to, rather than sort of like alluding to balance, go ahead and say like, you need this investment plan needs to consider how how intensely these kinds of issues will impact people in rural, lower income communities. It's going to be a bigger hit, and those industries are also more likely to be catastrophically disrupted. So invest according to those foreseeable needs.
I'm okay.
Oh, you're okay, good. Anybody else doing some little typos and stuff?
I largely second what Katrina
Okay.
said. Lazy contribution on my part. As far as I can tell, all the comments we made at the July 15 meeting, for the most part, are reflected in this letter in some way, shape, or form.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
So, good job.
Thank you for that.
Okay. All right. You can slide over any edits you got there, Carl. All right, so.
Slow reader and commenter.
And it's pretty dense, I get it. Okay, so we'll go on to reports from the board. RV Cog.
Yes, the meeting was interesting today. A gentleman by the name of Nick Maggio, who is a professor, I believe, at the University of Oregon, is very involved in a part of the university dealing with the Oregon Hazards Lab. This is probably partly just review for you, but they're interested in two things for Oregon. One, it has to do with safety, both with fire and earthquakes. He concentrated on fire today. He talked about the fact that there are cameras scheduled for Southern Oregon, 12 of them, 3 every year. 4 of them are already in place. 3 of them are in process. He also said a bunch of things that I didn't know, and that is that they're functioning all over the state. And also, the West Coast states are functioning together. Yeah. They're doing more than just doing cameras. They're coordinating things, and they're doing triangulation to assisting in that. They're to determine where the exact location of fires, all kinds of interesting things they're doing. We noted, of course, that this year we've been pretty lucky so far here in Oregon. I know we've had a few things, but it has not been disastrous. He also talked about they have a department that makes information public to the public, and they also do information to the various firefighting organizations, and they work closely with a number of organizations like the electric power companies and the forestry people and all those people that have an interest in forest safety. It was very interesting. That's all I have to say about that. The other thing we did was after quite a bit of debate, we approved unanimously, I believe, a contract with the city of Central Point. As you probably know, one of the local large nonprofit organizations is in the process of kicking Food and Friends out of their lease. We don't like what they're doing, but that's what's happening. So we've arranged a new contract with the city of Central Point. They've moved out of their maintenance building, and that maintenance building is just perfect for us to move in. So we approved a contract, a little over $1 million, to buy that at some pretty good rate, a 5% interest rate. We believe that dealing with the city of Central Point is very approving of what we're doing. I hope everybody is feeding food and good connections to the poor and the innocent. I don't need to lecture on that. I'm one of them.
You're the innocent one, right?
But we believe that in the event that the federal government cut us off again, we never know when that's going to happen, or some kind of thing like that happens, we believe that the city council of Central Point would be much easier to deal with than some bank in being foreclosed. So that was a good thing. I thought it wasn't. I didn't even know it was going to pass, but we passed it, and strangely enough, unanimously. That completes my report.
All right. That sounds like it was a pretty good meeting. Go ahead.
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
You talked about the firefighters.
Yeah.
We've had a number of fires around here from lightning and
Yes.
various reasons. And firefighters have done an outstanding,
Hasn't it been
awesome,
good?
wonderful job
Yes.
in keeping things under control.
Isn't that, I think we've had a good year thanks to all that expertise.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
far so good.
Thank you.
Okay, MBO, we didn't really do anything. We typically do a tip amendment. It was benefiting RVTD this time, but it was sort of housekeeping. We did spend some time talking about a letter to the legislature to support, well, just to talk about how we needed funds. We're not lobbying, but we were just like sending a general letter of support, and ODOT got a hold of it and put a bunch of paragraphs in there about ODOT. But it's heading off to the legislature too. But that was about it. So, what's next? Tradco?
They
No-
didn't meet,
no,
so
no meeting.
nothing. Nothing to
And
report.
RV Act meets like next week.
September 8th.
Yeah.
Coming up.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
I do have one question for staff. Okay, so this could be a terrible idea. I trust your marketing people on the optics of this, but earlier we spoke a little bit about basically having a donation box of sorts. So like we're in dire straits, would the cities maybe want to donate towards us? Would we want to do that maybe at the local level if we were able to set up an online donation box on RVTD's website? Is that something that would be worth the cost of management with what we would expect to get? Or is that something that, in terms of optics, wouldn't really be good in the long term? Because off the top of my head, how I imagine it might go down is if we have some kind of story published that showcases some of the tragedies that have befallen both the employees of RVTD as well as the passengers who aren't going to get access to services they need. If we get a story like that published, and have a link at the bottom of, if you'd like to donate towards RVTD, you can do so at this link. Get that in front of enough faces, you might have a few nice people donate some meaningful amounts of dollars. Not enough to restore routes entirely, but maybe be worth the cost of managing the donation box and possibly greases the wheels for a levy in the future in terms of public optics. I trust your marketing people much more so than me. I'm not a marketing guy, but I don't know. It's something I thought of.
Well, I'll let Julie respond to like the technical aspects of that, but I guess, the levee's sort of like upon us really right now. So we typically, the district does, gathers, testimonials from folks on the bus, and then the PAC also does some of that work. So this is the time to start doing that, but it will be more of a political action committee boost to the public and the marketing of those stories to our community so that we might just repass that levy. And I guess the other thing we'll need to talk about is just whether we want to add anything to it, which will be something that we need to probably discuss as well. Right?
Okay.
So that makes sense?
Yeah, if those efforts are better served towards the levy initiative
think
at this
so,
point, then absolutely, let's do that instead.
When is the levy due?
No, we have to do it in May.
This
May 26th.
coming May, a year from.
Less than a
Last
year
year.
away.
A year from last year. I'm sorry, I'm
say
being
we
smart
did.
aleck.
Did a really pretty good job last time around. We campaigned hard.
Well, the first time
we did.
The second
last
time was during
we
COVID.
coasted. We coasted last
Coasted
time,
and-
yeah.
That's right.
we made it.
Yeah.
But yes, that's coming. I got a stomach ache.
Campaign starts next spring, then, right?
Yeah, we should probably get it started sooner than later. I don't know when we want to put it on the agenda to start talking about it as far as like when we want to do all the paperwork to pass it, but,
And who else is going to be on the ballot?
oh, yeah. Well, we know Jackson County is with the jail, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and I think there's somebody else that I know is supposed to be on the ballot. I can't remember what, another jurisdiction. Can't remember now.
The jail, huh?
The jail,
Connected
for sure.
to
I'm pretty sure. Good.
Connected to marketing, I was interviewed by Meg Wade from Oregon Humanities, and she wrote a piece about the importance of rural public transportation, which came out this week. And so
Cool.
Yeah, that's there, and wanted to put it on your radar, if it would be of any support.
If you have a link to that article,
I do.
send it to us, and then we could actually even put it on our website.
Okay, I will send that to you, because I'm just what you would expect. I'm talking about how much I love the bus, and how much of an important piece it is in rural communities, not just metropolitan communities.
Did you have anything else, Bill? No? I thought I saw your hand. Okay. All right, thank you all. We'll stand adjourned until next month.
Could you get that?